passion for this city. I have a passion how the city operates. Now I'm going to throw the cop out at you. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of time to pursue this. As a manager trying to get some businesses off the ground, unfortunately my hands are, there's not enough hours in a day, and I'm sure most everybody in the room feels that same thing from one time or another. But I still, if I'm not here at the meetings, I still watch the meetings on TV and I re-watch the meetings. I mean, sometimes when I get home from my work at midnight, thank God they've played some of these meetings, like I can watch them till 3 o'clock in the morning. I know I have no life. But anyway, I've got to be passionate about something other than golf. You know, my wife and I talk, we've got 2 kids, 9 and 5. And her cop-out is she's just the greatest mother and parent in the world. And all her focus is on her kids, as well as her career as a CPA. But we talk about this at home and what's going on in the city and so on and so forth. And Mr. Mayor, I agree in your State of the City address. I mean, we have done some things. You guys have done some things. The city have done some things in the last year that are steps in the right direction. I've a number of things I want to address here, but I'm going to put some off till later on. But you spoke of, in your State of the City address, you spoke of the inclusion of the citizens and so on and so forth. That's wonderful. And because we are the shareholders, we're the stakeholders in the city. There comes a point, however, when we have elected officials that need to make decisions. There's many things that have been going down through the year here, the past year, that I feel just seem to be bogged down. And it's time to make some decisions. I go back over the developmental decisions, accomplishments that the present council has made in the last year. We overturned the pedestrian bridge. We approved the Silverview Estate development. More or less a no-brainer. All the zoning was in place. They complied with all the everything they needed to do. The advisory election for the ongoing of the Belray Ballroom, it was there. People wanted it. The survey showed it. I still question the why the special advisory election was called in that. At any rate, about the community center, a lot of what's going on over there reminds me of what's going on with City Hall, with Edgewood Drive, with the traffic light. I think we had a very intelligent, thought-provoking discussion 2 weeks ago at Planning Commission regarding the ring road and the theater concept, etc. When this ring road thing came on, when the concept came up in the University of Minnesota design team, that's exciting. That's progress. I'm not saying, I'm not saying I necessarily agree with everything about it, but I know, Mr. Mayor, you and I was just as enthusiastic as you were, because it's change. It's moving forward. It's moving into the future. We have to take the best elements of that concept, Mr. Former Mayor, concept, to expand, to go ahead. And we don't want to lay back. We're an inner ring suburb. Inner ring suburbs, generally, after the inner city dies, the inner ring suburbs die, as evidenced by Columbia Heights, Richfield, etc. We don't want to go that direction. Everybody here, their heart's in the right place, I'm sure. Their heads are in the right place. But decisions have to be made. We have to move on. We're holding up developers. We're holding up citizens. We just need to get going. The community center, since construction started, we've got coming up with leaking roofs. We find out that the grading for the drainage is wrong. That's another couple $100,000. Leaky roof is $100,000. Possible wetland encroachment. As a manager for over 20 years, who's in charge? I mean, do we have the fox watching the hen house over there or what? It's called accountability. I want to know what's going on over there, and I'm sure the citizens do, too, because, everybody, apparently the city believes we need this community center. but we also need to get it on track. We need to get done on a timely basis, and there needs to be accountability at all levels. Apparently, it's not, I mean, these surprises keep coming up, but surprisingly, it's the architects and the contractors that are exposing these surprises to us. City Hall, I agree with the mayor here. I think we've got incredible potential with the City Hall campus. The mayor and I have spoken about this in the past, about how exciting this is. To quote the mayor one night, he said, we may possibly be sitting on a gold mine here, the city. Let's do something with it. Let's not be afraid. Let's take the challenge and let's go for it. I can't believe we get bogged down because there's a potential we might lose a corner of the asphalt to the City Hall parking lot. I can't believe something like this bogs us down. We need to move on. We need to make decisions. We need to go. In doing a little bit of research, the history of the city councils and the way the government is run in Moundsview, it's plain to see that every council stamps their own business, their own personality. And this is what gets in the way of progress, because we need to press on. We don't need to worry about re-elections. We don't need to worry about we get ourselves boxed in with campaign promises, et cetera. Can't do that. The last thing, the housing replacement program, super program, I agree with Councilmember Koopmeiners. He seemed to have the most level head when it came up at the EDA. Why not wait till spring? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that property on Spring Lake Road in Arden, I think we kind of went away from that program to accommodate the developer for a spec house. And I remember Councilmember Koopmeiners saying, why not wait till spring when the market's stronger and better and continue with the housing replacement program as it is set up in the city. So we kind of went against the policy there. One last thing, I'm not sitting here taking shots at you or anything like that, because overall we're doing okay. Overall we're doing okay. We've got a nice mix of ideas working up here and stuff. But I will ask you, Mr. Mayor, because you're the one with the title behind your name. A great concern, I'm sure, to a lot of people, residents of Moundsview, is what's going on at Edgewood Junior High, middle school. Why are those scores so much lower than Highview and particularly Chippewa? I think we can cast out some real simple, societal, sociological answers. But I'm, as a parent of children in the city, I'm asking you, Mr. Mayor, can we check with the Moundsview School District and find out why these kids are 20 points lower than Chippewa? There's something not right here. And I think with the title, if I went there as Joe Citizen, I don't know how much weight that would carry with the school district. But that's a huge concern, I think, to many citizens. So particularly, I've got kids on their way. I'm in Edgewood's district, so. So anyway, that was real brief. I know I went well over my 3 minutes, and I did cut quite a bit out of it. But I respect all of you up here. Again, I've said this before, anybody who wants to take shots at elected officials, you're wrong. It's honorable to serve your community, to state, whatever. And I'm not here to do that. I just want you to I spoke with a person who's a business owner and a resident of Moundsview who is flat embarrassed by what's happened in the city as opposed to New Brighton, because this business owner is involved in the Cove Chamber of Commerce's, and she really likes what they're doing in New Brighton. And she wants to know, she asked me last fall, why can't we do the same? Anyway, and the staff is super. I've always said it. We have a great staff here, and let's give them all the support they deserve. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments, Cam. I'll respond to one on the Edgewood Junior High scores. I don't know all of the details, but I think that the school district, or the school board in particular, would be very interested in hearing your comments at one of their regular scheduled meetings. That is their turf, and I need to be respectful of that. But I can tell you this much in my contact with the school districts on other matters. Everybody is concerned about the success of our children in schools. And we could sit here for the next 6 hours and go through the whole litany of why they do or do not succeed, from dysfunctional families to whatever. So there are a lot of reasons, but believe me, your concern is shared by the entire community. You see, those kids and their success is our future, especially for those of us who hope to live long enough to retire, and it's getting closer all the time. We will be depending on them for the future. So you'll have nothing but total support there. On some of these other things that you raised, I'll have to ask myself, because I was unaware that the changes in the drainage plan for the Delray was going to incur an additional $200,000 expense. I was totally unaware of that. I'll certainly check on that. But finally, and I think that we're beginning to track in the same mind frame, not only between yourself, myself, members of the council, our commissions. It will soon happen, I believe, that all of our commissions and this city council will gather in this room some Saturday morning and knock heads. I think that would be very good for the city. But it's so busy right now. We have a staff that's stretched out so far that they're about ready to snap. So we have to be careful on how much we pile on and when. But all of your concerns are being addressed, and they will be taken very seriously. Thank you for your comments. Does anybody else wish to address the council on items not on the agenda? Any other comments or questions, council? Cam? Sure.
Sure. This is another part of my deal. I was told to wait till now. I think if you're looking for a starting point in this, it seems to me like everybody's forgotten. Guess what? The city has an assessment policy in place, and we have a street standard with, and so on and so forth. It's in place. There's your starting point. I know we've gone by it. You guys are impressive. You've done a great job. I hate to say it, but I kind of feel like you've gone right past our city on this, and they seem to be catching up, trying to keep up with you all the time. Well, that's the impression we're getting out in TV land. But I think there's the rest of us in Mounds View that don't live on Spring Lake Road or County Road I. And I'm glad to see that Barb is, they're trying to incorporate the rest of the city now in their plan, because from the onset of this whole Spring Lake Road issue, I've said there's got to be fairness. From day one, there's got to be fairness for the whole city. And along with that, we have a policy in place. We have for assessment and street widths and so on and so forth. I didn't agree with it at the time it was passed in the last council. But I was wondering, and I've had discussions with people in the past, once everybody in the city can get together and form these policies, how can we live by them? So we don't have to go through this again when the next road comes up for construction. See, that's because how much money is this costing the city by dragging everything out? I don't know. Can we put a dollar value to it? I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I think if we can come up once and for all, which I thought was done 2 years ago, but obviously now it hasn't been, it's got to be uniformity. There's got to be a policy in place that we can live with. Apparently a couple years ago it was thought that that was the case, but obviously not. Over the course of these meetings, and again I've been watching them, there's always discrepancies. The Spring Lake Road folks, their consultants or their MSA people are saying one thing, but then the city's consultants and so on and so forth are saying other things. Before we get to the March 9th deal, some truths had better be found, and some accurate facts had better be found. Because otherwise, we're going to open ourselves up to all sorts of other nonsense. The old Highway 8 reconstruction. What happened there? How'd that one fall through the cracks? I'm sure there's an explanation. We're just lay people out here on the other side of the TV screen. We don't know. There's probably an explanation somewhere what happened there. I don't know what it is. Bronson Drive, those poor folks last year, I can remember right toward the end when they finally saw the bulldozers coming down their streets, and then they started flooding into city council. What's going on? And to hear all those people saying they knew nothing about it, and a few weeks ago the remark was made, gee, they just missed the deadline to do it. That's nonsense. I mean, it's just like the Spring Lake Road people. All the information's out there. It's in the newspapers, it's in the Mounds View Matters, it's in countless council meetings. That doesn't work anymore. That excuse, and I hope the city doesn't fall for that when citizens come and say, I didn't hear about it. Too bad. There's plenty of information out there. That was kind of a sad deal that happened, but if I'm not mistaken, the Bronson Drive, when the city did that, is that about the time they came up with the new street width standard and the assessment funds? Okay, all right. So now we're re-looking at it again with another road project. So when we come to a finalization of this thing, and we do the construction, and the next road comes up for repair, here we go again. So I just ask the city staff and the council and mayor, whatever we come up with, let's make it so it's fair for the whole city, so we don't have to take a new look at this every single time. Hey, infrastructure is infrastructure, and it falls apart with age. So we're constantly going to be rebuilding roads and looking at the sewers and so on and so forth. It's cost of living in the city, and everybody needs to understand that. And any turnback monies that we get from the state or county or whatever the case may be belongs to every resident of the city. It's city's money, not just a particular area of the city, not for particular residents of the city. It goes to the whole city for everybody to have their fair piece. So with that, thanks.
Comments, questions, council, anybody else? Mike, on the old Highway 8 project, put my old county commissioner's hat back on here. That was a county project. How much of that engineering was done by the county? And how much did that impact the cost of the project and ultimately the assessment?
The entire project was engineered by Ramsey County. Well, the project, and I have the feasibility report in front of me, the total project cost was estimated at $1.3 million.
Okay.
Mounds View's share of that was $127,000. Mounds View's assessment goes from the New Brighton city limits to just past the manufactured home park is where the assessments stop on that. The remainder of that is county property. And in turn, if we were to assess the county for our share of the curb and gutter, which was 75%, they'd turn around and make us pay for it. The assessable rate on Old Highway 8 is the same thing as it is on the past projects. When you're looking at a total of $206,000, according to the feasibility study for engineering, of which Mounds View is responsible for only $19,000. The county engineering is $187,000. On a $1.3 million project, that's very close, very much in line.
So in effect, the folks that are affected by the old Highway 8 project got the free county engineering that we don't have available on our streets.
That's correct. The other part of the assessment...
I just had a sneaking feeling that was the situation.
The other part of the assessments are the same for the water main installation that would occur on County Road I.
Okay.
As you know, the east side of Old Highway 8 is all MnDOT right-of-way. Therefore, there's only one side assessment on that. So 50% of a 30-foot wide street was figured in there, even though the street is 52 feet wide, 4 lanes. That 50% of 30 feet is cut in half. City pays for 50%, residents pay for 50%. But there's nobody to assess on the other side. So ultimately their assessment is 25%. Because they don't pay for 50% of one driving lane or of their frontage. They pay for 50% of the entire road. In the same way with the water main installation that is proposed to occur on County Road I, that assessment would only be 25% because we have nobody to assess on the north side of County Road I. It's all lakeshore. So due to that fact, and also the engineering being less than $20,000 according to the proposal, is why the assessment there is about half.
Okay. Thank you. Bob, I have a quick question for you on processes racing through my mind right now. We had a public hearing on November the 24th on this project, setting forth the proposed configurations of the project. Then the 60-day time period kicks in for residents to respond under the charter with a petition. We are well past that 60-day period. Through all this entire process, we have very clearly indicated that we weren't ready, nor were we about to adopt a specific project. So nobody knows. What I'm driving at is, in essence, I think our action has dampened any effort to exercise the petition rights. So my question revolves around whether or not this project can go forward anyway without starting the entire process over again, in order to ensure that those constitutional petitioning rights are held in respect.
Yeah, Mayor, members of the council, I gave some thought to that, talked to Chuck and Mike about that a little bit, and your charter is, it does simply say you hold a public hearing, you have to wait 60 days before you can take any action, and after the 60 days elapses, you could proceed with this project. I mean, in other words, the only thing you couldn't do, and your charter's silent as to this, but state law would kick in here, you could not have a scope of a project that would result in an increased assessment cost or an increased scope beyond of which you had noticed a public hearing. If you reduced the scope and then reduced the assessment amount from what it was estimated, because the resolution went out to all the affected property owners at that time with some estimated costs which has been responded to. So that you could go forward. The other issue here is, again, your charter, I think, is silent as to this, but state law would suggest under Chapter 4